Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another Velocity Banking review with the emphasis that your goal is just to be out of touch with the general population because possibly you might be mortgage free in less than 3 years. And if you don't know anything about me or you're new to this channel, I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months, right? So 2024 paid off lean position one, conventional no PMI, right? Maturity date 2051, subtract 30 years. That's my first payment of the mortgage. And then you can calculate, hey, 2 years and 9 months, right? And you want to know something? I understand how politicians are like when they probably have like 10 houses in the Hamptons, and then they go up to like in front of a group of people who are probably struggling paycheck to paycheck, and they're like, hey, I know you guys are struggling and I feel your pain. And it's like they don't feel the pain at all. You know what I mean? Because they're out of touch, and that's how I am nowadays too. I'm just out of touch because I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. And you know what the cool thing about this YouTube channel is that I'm meeting more and more people who are going to join the out of touch club, right? I call it the out of touch club. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were on a Zoom call, and this person has two houses, right? And they're in high cost areas. And house one, we projected we paid off in like 1.8 years. Okay. And then house two, we projected would be paid off in about 2.5 years. And again, these aren't like cheap $50,000 Midwest houses. These are high cost area houses. And I'm just like, I'm pretty excited because I'm getting more and more people to join the out of touch club. And the thing that I think about when I think about like, oh, paying off your mortgage in 3 years is like a clip of The Simpsons where Homer goes to space and he tells his coworker that he went to space, and then Homer says, "You've never been?" Right? Let me play that right now for you.
Oh, and here's a picture of me in outer space.
You went into outer space. You.
Sure. You've never been?
Right. And hopefully we'll be able to grow this club of out of touch people. So I'll just randomly tell someone like, "Oh yeah, I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months." Wait, you didn't do that? Well, I got a person right here who paid off one house in 1.8 years in a high cost area. What? 30 years? More than 30 years? Really? And then you just kind of that's when you'll understand how politicians are about why they have to pretend to be the way that they are, because in order for get them to get elected, they just have to pretend like they're relatable to the average person, right? Well, they probably have like 10 houses in the Hamptons, probably going to get their 11th house, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know you're all being infected or not affected by inflation. Yeah, yeah, yeah." But here's the thing, okay? If you get rid of your most expensive monthly payment, which is your housing or your rent, you're better off than like 95% of Americans, right? Probably 97. Okay. And so that's kind of like the goal, not just for me, but for a lot of people, right? And very few people will join this club because a bank could not exist if too many people were paying their debts off early. And you might be like, wow, is that true? Well, here's the thing. Go on Google and look up Wells Fargo built card losing money, right? And if you take a look here, okay, they are losing $10 million per month on something called the built card, which is a card you use to pay the rent, right? You use this to pay the rent. Let's look at this, losing $120 million with built MasterCard every year. And they were probably thinking, hey, if you pay the rent with this card, the rent is like the biggest payment that you have, so people will probably leave balances. And accidentally they created what I call the velocity banking card, which is that they just got paid off every single month. And then now, because the bank doesn't like it when you pay them off too early, they're losing $120 million a month. So we're going to talk about how to do this strategy called velocity banking. So what is velocity banking? All it is paying off your debts, all of it, putting all your income into debt with the help of a line of credit. All right. So what's a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. So if I take a look here, this is my home equity line of credit for $280,000. So what does that mean? I could go to the bank's website, click a button. They'll put up to $280,000 in my checking account and charge me a 7.5% interest rate, right? And the cool thing about this is that it's even better than credit cards in some ways because I can use it to pay anything, right? Food, gas, insurance, loans, right? Remember, can you use a credit card to pay a loan? Nope. But with this, you can because it's little cash in your checking account, right? So none of that balance transfer for 3% and all that nonsense. We don't have to, we're not doing that. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. And we're going to use this spreadsheet to do velocity banking. So we assume same income, same expenses, right? We're going to do that. And when we do our expense breakdown, we have to list every single debt that we have because remember, this is a debt elimination strategy. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 debts, and we have our general expenses that we're always going to have to pay, right? Or what they call them operating expenses, food, gas, insurance. You got to pay for these. And what we're going to do is learn how to get rid of them. And how do we get rid of them? What's the main secret? We don't save money, right? That's the main secret. So if we take a look here, this is my bank account. You'll see if you take a snapshot of my bank account, pretty much almost any given day, it's not going to have any money in it, right? As soon as I get paid, the money goes into the debt, okay? AKA our line of credit, which is our debt tool to consolidate our debts and increase our cash flow, right? And so let's assume that we had, I don't know, maybe $100,000 line of credit, 100,000, and you might be thinking, "Oh my goodness, that's way too much," right? But welcome to my world where I'm out of touch, right? 280,000. In fact, I have over $579,000 in lines of credit. 579,000. All right. So now this is what I'm going to do. We're going to have something called cash flow. And by moving some debt, we're going to increase this cash flow. So how much debt is this? So 5, 8, 15, 27, 30. And let's go ahead and sum that up, which is $85,000. $85,000, right? So 85000. Okay, 85000. And then now, guess what happens to these credit cards? 00000. And then now this is $3,196.49 of cash flow, right? We put our entire paycheck into the line of credit, take our expenses out, and then rinse and repeat over and over again. And after every single month, it should go down by our cash flow. So I'm going to do this, and then we're going to just do this, minus, okay, minus 3196.49, and then we're going to take the interest, which is based on the average daily balance, multiply it by the interest rate, 0.08, and divide by 12. And believe it or not, my interest rate on this line of credit is 7.5%, right? 7.5%. Like when I signed the contract, it said 8%, and then twice they sent me a little mailer saying we reduced your interest rate. I was like, that's awesome. I'm going to welcome a lower interest rate. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this, and we're going to go ahead and do that. And then now, after about 30 months, right? 30 months, we paid it off pretty quickly. 30 months. How much credit card debt? This was 85K. 85K. All right. You want to know something? Like there are YouTube videos out there that get hundreds of thousands of views, right? Let me just do this. See if I can get this to show up. 10K in credit card debt. Okay. How they get so many views about paying off $10,000 of debt in like 12 months. $10,000 of debt in 3 months. That's pretty good, right? And the average credit card debt is only about $6,000. So, like whenever you see news articles, they're like, it's trillions of dollars of credit card debt. Yeah, but among many, many people, and the average credit card debt's only about 6,000. Paid off 20,000 1 year. Ooh, 92,000. Okay, that's good. 32,000 6 months. Yeah, that's really good. Okay. Credit card debt. $6,000. See, this is average. Look at this. Oh, well, 2 months. Okay. Shea budgets 381,000. So we're doing 85,000 here, right? We're not afraid of $85,000 of credit card debt, but people freak out about 5 to 10 because the average is like around 5 to 10, right? All right, so let's go ahead and do this, and then now we're going to do the auto loan and mortgage. So that's all we got, right? Auto loan and mortgage. And so now let me just do here 30 months. And this is from the last scenario I did. All right, so now we have 13 grand in our loan balance, right? After 30 months. And, this is what we're going to do. We're going to just move this into the line of credit so that we can get the $460 of cash flow, right? So we're going to just do this right here. And I am going to move this right here. And so plus 13121.89. Okay. And then now this is going to be 0, right? So 0. And what's our cash flow? It's 3656.79, right? 3656.79. And I'm going to do this 3656.79. Okay. And then paid off in 33 months. Blam. That was so easy. So 33 months. All right. 33 months. And then this is going to be 85 plus 25. And then 1110K. Okay. And then our mortgage at 33 months is going to be $188,000. Now, should you move your entire 3% mortgage into an 8% line of credit? The answer is probably not, because we only get, so take a look at this. If we pay off this 13 grand loan right now, we get $460 of cash flow. If we pay $188,000, how much cash flow do we get? 843. So when there's a huge interest rate difference, 3% and 8%, and you're only getting this itty bitty tiny bit of cash flow, you have to take that into consideration. Yet there is this thing called chunking, right? So what does that mean? Basically, you're just moving a piece of the loan into the line of credit, and then you're just rinse and repeating over and over again. So just a quick example, we'll say $7,000 chunk. We're going to take $7,000 mortgage of the mortgage and transfer it into the line of credit. Okay, how long did it take for me to pay off that 7? 1, 2, 3, 3 months, right? And then we just rinse and repeat over and over again. And that's an easy way to pay it off without what we call segregating your income. Because how did we get here in the first place? Is because banks like it when you, first of all, save money, and not only that, split your income in different ways with different debt products, because they don't make any money. Or they make money when you just essentially make minimum payments on everything, right? It doesn't matter whether it's credit cards or auto loans or mortgages. A minimum payment is a bank's best friend, because that's how they make the money, right? So we're just going to go here right now. And luckily we have this Velocity banking calculator. Did I already fill this in? Oh, let me just redo some of this. Okay. So now let's go ahead and fill this in with the details. So $200,000 original balance. And then what's the current balance? 188,209 plus 188,209 plus 17. The interest rate is 3%, 30 years, and then it's 843.21 and 8%. And what's our income? Our income is 6,500, and then our living expenses is $2,000. So everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off, not 200. That'd be pretty sweet. And what's our chunk amount? We'll say $7,000. Again, it's just a small amount that will cover our income, right? So 3.8 years. Holy bazookas. That's what I used to say when I used to watch Baywatch as a kid. Yeah, 3.8 years. Okay. All right. Whoa. All right. So quick plug. If you want to know where I got this calculator from, it's from Renatus. And if you want to not only learn Velocity banking, but also learn a bunch of other stuff, in on top of that, click the Google form link below. So here you see that 3.8 years, which is amazing. So this is really, out of touch, right? Out of touch. And I got to put a smiley face there because that's what we're striving to be. When we pay off a mortgage under 4 years and we act like it's nothing, right? Oh, I'm out of touch. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. And so this is now 0. And then 33 months plus 3.8 years. So 33 divided 12 plus 3.8, which is 6.55 years. And then we are debt free, debt free. And take a look at that. I hope I did the math correctly. But now what we have what we call rich people problems, right? So you know how poor people freak out like I don't have any money saved. Oh my goodness, right? When you're rich and you have too much money in your savings account, we'll say $100,000, you know what you're thinking? Oh my goodness, like I'm actually my money's being eaten away by inflation. So I want to invest in something like real estate or I don't know, whatever, right? When you want to grow your money at like 8 to 12, but you're only getting like 1 to 4% or probably less than from the bank, right? So that's why a lot of times poor people think, have the opposite mindset of rich people, which is like, I would love to have savings. And rich people are like, no, I'm being eaten by inflation. I got to make this money go to work. Right. And so now after every single month's $4,500, and then, your savings account will grow. And then now you're just waiting for opportunities to spend that saved money. But because we don't have any debt, we are good to go. 6.55 years debt free. So now basically we are out of touch, right? Out of touch. And here's the thing: if you made it to the end of this video, just write "out of touch" on the comment below. I want to be out of touch, right? Because then you can join the club of paying off your mortgage in, I don't know, we'll say under 5 years, 4 years, it doesn't even matter. As long as you paid off under 30, you're fine, right? Because the average American doesn't even pay off their 30-year mortgage in 30 years because they sell or refinance every 5 to 7 years. And they think that's smart too. I remember my previous landlord was like, I'm refinancing my house so I can do a cash out refinance. And cash out refinance only really would make sense if you're going to use that money for productive use. It's not just to take out money for the sake of taking out money, right? All right, well, that's it for today, folks. So this is a Korean Atlanta mentorship. How's your day going? Are you out of touch like me with the average person? Are you gonna go to your friends, family, and colleagues and tell them, "Hey, this is me in space. You've never been, right?" Or the equivalent of that when it comes to paying off your mortgage. Oh, I paid my mortgage off in about 3 years. What? You didn't do that? Yeah, that's basically me nowadays. All right, so all right, so that we're at the end of the video now. Have a great day, and let's see if I could crank out another video before the end of the day. Good, beautiful Sunday, everybody. Beautiful Sunday.